in here. Woo, woo, woo. Welcome back, my Porter Proud fam. It's good to see you guys. Today's episode is going to be about something a little bit different. We had, I don't know how to say it other than to say, we had a major malfunction testing out some of the new rounds that we were going to film for the show. I had a buddy Jeremy over for a week or so, and we experimented with some new setups, some stuff that we wanted to film, and some stuff that we wanted to do. Our safety protocol involves strapping down the firearm to a stand and setting off X number of the rounds remotely with a trigger. No other way to say it. I got irritated with the timing of some of the stuff that was going on in the day, and I really wanted to get going with what we were doing. We tested, as you'll see in the video, several rounds before the failure, and those rounds led me to have a sense of complacency about what we were doing, when the criticality behind what we were doing never left. We also filmed this in the late evening, early night, so it was very dark outside. We couldn't see what was going on with the rounds in the gun. We couldn't see the gun. We couldn't go back and we didn't, like I said, we didn't have it set up so that we could go back and check video, so we didn't check video. About the 5th or 6th round in is when the failure happened. That failure was to a critical point to where I probably shouldn't be sitting here. It should have killed me. And that's the serious side of what we do. I'm going to show you here in a second what happened to the shotgun. I'll show you the video. We did record what was happening when it happened, so we have a video of the event as it took place. We've looked at that video. We know exactly what happened and what the failure point was. I'll get into a little bit about what that was towards the end of the video. But for right now, we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at the gun itself, and then we'll get into a little bit of the injuries that the failure in the shotgun caused. So with that, let's go take a look at this gun. All right, so let's take a look at this gun. So first thing that draws your eye is everything is disassembled. This is how the gun was when we picked it up. It was basically blown into pieces. We didn't find several of the pieces until the next day, like the trigger mechanism and the bolt carrier. We didn't find those until the next day. And this broken off piece that came off of the top, we didn't find that until the next day either. The shotgun was held together with the bandolier strap that was still on it, so it was holding the back of the gun and the front of the gun. But other than that, everything was shattered in the way that you kind of see it sitting here. So first, let's check out the most critical part of the firearm. So you can see here that the firearm basically blew itself apart. So those should be flat, and those sides should be flat and even. The pin didn't shear. It actually stretched the metal enough to where the whole part came out all by itself. So you can see how much stretch is actually in that part. It also ripped off the parts that go to the guide rails and the parts that connect to the end of the bolt or the trigger group. Sorry. We'll look at those a little bit closer. And then lastly, in the shotgun, it actually had enough force to blow that composite chip out of the butt of the gun. See if I can do this with my hand this way. This piece actually was this part of the rifle here, connected here, here, and this was actually twisted down, so when it was all flat. So this whole side of the shotgun blew off, eventually, ripped off. And you can see it's clean tears. It just basically sheared and blew itself apart. If we look at the trigger group, so we can see how bent out this side is, and this is the near side of the firearm that would have come down, so it was actually blowing this way. So as that side blew off, it twisted the whole part sideways. The trigger mechanism itself is still there. The springs are still functional-ish, but the mechanism itself has been blown so far out of whack that nothing will ever function in it again. When that was blowing off, the bottom of the trigger guard, my finger was actually in there, and the bottom of the trigger guard broke, probably against my finger. That's probably what ended up shattering my finger, as this was coming down and forcing my finger down and away. At the same time, just prior, the bolt was slamming back. So typically this covers the end and holds the firing pin in. The firing pin is no more. We don't know what happened to it, or the spring for it. Both things are with gun Jesus. Basically it blew them apart. On it, the extractor lug is totally broke off. The rest of the locking lugs still seem to be there in a normal order. It's just the ejector clip that is blown off and gone, and you can see in that scarring on the edge where that explosion was pushing things. I think the next round, or the back of the round, is what actually slammed into this so hard that it chipped or left scuffs of metal in there. We did have in the tube, we did have 2 rounds left in here of the same type. We soaked the barrel in water overnight, which is the reason for all the rust that you see. We soaked the tube in overnight, and then I went ahead and popped those pieces out, so there's nothing left in this tube. But you can see it basically flattened the end of the magazine tube. At the same time it was blowing this part apart. There's a piece missing from the composite on both sides in the same area. Ripped off the guide rails, and you can see the amount of bend in those. You can also see the char. I don't know how well, but you can see the char on the plastic behind it. It's pretty thick. Pretty good char in there. So basically what happened is the gun detonated. All of the force of pressure went into blowing the barrel off, ripping out this side, and sending the trigger group down. If it wasn't a shotgun, like I said, if it had some open top, open bolt, a lot of this stuff would have ejected out and went the other way. But this being a shotgun, and even a cheaply made, cheesy Chinese shotgun saved my life. Basically because all of the pressure went out this way and out the bottom. Did take out my hand, but in the overall scheme of things, I didn't lose a finger, I didn't lose an eye, so basically got off with a really painful lesson. and let that be a lesson to everyone out there. The stuff that we do on this channel, again, looks fun and looks exciting. We edit out a lot of the safety stuff that's involved in it, and skipping those safety steps is what led to this disaster. So safety first, second, and third, always moving forward. Love you, Porter Proud. Stay proud. Whenever you're ready, brother.
I'm gonna shoot it right in the fire.
All right.
You got stuck.
Is it in the barrel?
I think so. Ready?
Yep. Shiny. Those are pretty awesome, bro.
There's some 4th of July.
That is 4th of July on New Year's.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so we're back. You saw basically what happened to the firearm. It detonated, for lack of a better term, in my hands. Had it not been a shotgun or something with an open bolt or something on the top, I may have ended up looking like Kentucky Ballistics. I'm really lucky that that didn't happen. Part of the reason why, and you see in the shotgun, is that the top housing of the shotgun took most of the blast. It ripped and twisted and shredded itself, rather than throwing scrap and shrapnel at me or into my face. I got really lucky. The worst things that happened were my right pointer finger that was around the trigger is shatter fractured. You'll see x-rays of that, I'm sure. What they had to do is pull it back out straight and set it. This is a temporary splint cast. In this for 2 weeks. Actually, tomorrow is my appointment day. We'll go in and see if it's started to heal on its own, or if they're gonna have to go in and surgically repair stuff, put some pins in and put it back together. This hand, I've taken the splint off so that we can get a little look at it. But this hand, basically, I broke a chip off of the inside part of the finger. You can see a little bruise on there where the chip is on the inside. I broke a little chip off, and that chip punctured the underside of my fingernail. Now, in order to alleviate that pressure, what they have to do, and you'll see the video, and this is going to get really graphic, so if you guys don't want to see blood and graphic content, I would suggest after my little speech here that you turn off the camera, or turn off the video, because it's going to get into what they did to this finger, and it was pretty brutal and pretty gross. So basically what they did is they scooped off the fingernail, or ripped it clean off, opened up so you could see the laceration inside where blood was oozing out. They poured a whole bunch of medical grade super glue onto it. Again, you'll see all this in the video. And then they went ahead and they stitched the fingernail back on so that it was covered and it had a chance to grow. Now, I should be inside this splint. It sits in this splint typically, and I'll put this back on right after the video, but I took this off so that you could get a good look at what the finger looks like right now and what happened to it. Also, it's a little more tough to see because I'm already going bald, but you can see it singed all of my hair, burned off a chunk out of here, and singed all the way back to about right here. Singed all my eyebrows off, my eyelashes, same thing. Singed my whole forehead, and I did have a burn mark here on my nose, which has since gone away. Again, this is about 2 weeks, just short of 2 weeks since the incident. So we've had a little bit of time to heal. But we'll go ahead and we'll go check out the videos of the nature of my injuries, what they did to put them back together, and what we're going to do moving forward. All right, so yeah, it's pretty brutal. It's pretty graphic. I apologize for any weak stomachs that are out there, but that's what they have to do. They have to clean out the injury and make sure that everything is debris free, that there's nothing stuffed up inside them. My hands were under blocks, so I couldn't fully feel the pain. I could feel some of the stuff that they were doing. It wasn't fully numb, but not so much that I couldn't get past it. The real bad part is the burn where they tried to cut my poor ring off. So I don't know if we filmed it. I'll have to go back and check, but I ended up making the doctors call the building mechanic and had him bring up his side cutters so that we could chop it off. With him, he brought up a cool set of Nip-X pliers to pull them apart, so we had a nifty little conversation about that. Much more efficient to cut soft gold off with some side cutters and a dike than it is to try to chop through it with a diamond blade saw. I mean, it sounds cool and it looks cool, and the idea is sound, but if you don't know what you're doing, you're just going to hurt people, and that's the opposite of what you want to have happen at a hospital. So with that, next week we'll be back to normal content on Porter Proud. Ain't nothing changing, ain't nobody going nowhere, and the boom doesn't stop. I'm glad to be here. I love each and every one of you, and I appreciate all of you coming to check out the channel and check out what we do. But just let this little safety message be a warning for everyone. What we do on the channel looks fun. The stuff that you see looks exciting and like you would like to try it. Don't. It's not stuff that we want to see people trying at home. It's stuff that we do for entertainment. We've had 15 years, and even after 15 years, I still end up with all of this. So don't try any of the stupid stuff that we do at home, because it's just going to leave you into a world of problems and pain. And I know all about the pain. So trust me when I say it's not something that you want to have in your life. Leave it to us. Watch us play around. See the booms that we do, and know that we're taking very seriously the safety and the safety protocols in order to make these things happen so where nobody gets hurt. All right, I love you guys. Stay safe and be Porter proud.
All right, go ahead.
That, my friend, is a man-sized hole. Look at that. It broke it off. It broke it all the way through. All the way through to the front face. Look at that. It's like, look at these. All the way through. It blew that shock.